To most human beings, death is like something very mysterious. It's like the end of the world, the end of their life. They're going to total darkness, but only because they have no idea what is really on the other side. And as an awakened being, everyone knows this is not the end. It's not a true death. It is just a transformation. So all carries on with you. And so if in one's accounts have not been settled before death, well, they simply return to the world to settle that later on. So no soul can ever detach from its own accounts until they are settled. And all of that, it is stored in the causal body. So there is a lower causal body and a higher causal body. The lower causal body is at the region of the Premananda, at the region of the non-duality in the levels of consciousness. And the higher causal body is at the region of the void. That is the unconsciousness and the unconscious karma. It is all placed there. It's kept for you until you are ready to reach these regions and work through. So it's like a bank. You are collecting and accumulating all that is needing to be rebalanced, to be resolved, to be cleared out. And so thus, as you work your way on your spiritual path, you are then able to clear this accumulated work. So when a soul arrives in the subtle region, he must there appear, before a judge. And these judges, they are the Karmic Lords. They are very intelligent beings that are absolutely aligned with God. And no one can bribe them. Nothing can be falsified. Everything is placed to that soul in special regions, we would say, and in one's own timing, that being is ready to deal with certain things. And as we know of the saying that God gives you only what you can handle, but in reality, it's the Lords of Karma that actually are storing and dividing your karmas in specific places, because they know that at a certain point you'll be much stronger to deal with that. And although nature can be very generous as to time, as to regarding time, let's just think about to see this planet Earth and how patient this being, this soul that has incarnated as the planet Earth, how patient, how unconditional she is, seeing these humans walking on Earth and destroying the whole thing. And she patiently waits. She patiently waits. She sees the ignorance of these human beings, that they can't see well past their nose, so to speak. And it may seem to humanity that the world is deteriorating and look what is happening now. But every single soul is still responsible, whether ignorant or whether awake. The same soul is responsible. And so, although nature can be very patient, can be very loving, but it doesn't mean that anyone can get away with anything. It's not how it works. At the end of it, everyone needs to pay in full payment of what one has done. And that is why another life may come for them. Another life is necessary on earth. One may go back and learn how to take care of nature. And that's the irony of reincarnations, because in one lifetime, you may be the destroyer of nature. And in the next lifetime, you may come into the earth and become one who saves nature. And that's how you bring balance to the karma that you've created previously. So that's what bringing balance means. In other words, resolving what you have created that caused disharmony and disbalance of some kind. So yes, beings return, come back several lifetimes. Time doesn't matter really. It only exists here on earth in certain dimensions. But in the higher reality, what is time? Nothing. So very patiently, souls keep repeating, coming back and improving their life, improving their actions, and coming out of ignorance. And so that's how it continues. Until one has fully completed this karmic wheel of birth and death, and then is free. And it is also known that the privileged souls that are here now, and they are under guidance of certain teachers and masters. These are known that these souls have reached the last incarnation, because under the right guidance, one is able that in one lifetime alone can be fully liberated from all, from everything. And then the soul can fully return back home where it belongs, beyond the reach of karma. So it is known that when the soul meets the right teacher that can bring them and guide them all the way through, all the way back home, then you know that this is the one last incarnation here at this dimension. So this is why it's an important lifetime for many. Let's say not thousands, but a few good amount of souls are ready to complete all that which binded the souls in this trap of this law, because it is a trap. But then once we know exactly what one needs to do, then step by step, this is possible to clear and clean this karma. So there are 3 types of karma that I wanted to share with you. And the first type of karma is called Prarabdha karma, which this means fate karma. It is that which has been earned in one or more previous lives, and upon which this present life is based upon. So this sort of karma, the individual must pay off during this life. He must live it out to the full extent, and there is no escape from it as a rule, not even from any master or guru. This is your Prarabdha karma, and that includes the purpose of your life. So even if you're at 80 or 90 years old, and there is 1 or 2 or 3 more tasks that need to be accomplished by you, it could be anything. It could be anything. Until you complete those, you remain alive in this incarnation. So once you complete the tasks of this life, the Prarabdha karma, then you're ready to go. That's it. You've done your tasks and you're ready to go. So this also helps us understand why sometimes young people leave their body, maybe by an accident or by some disease. So you see, so when you have insight from the level of the soul, you begin to make sense out of everything. You begin to understand that that person has completed his Prarabdha karma. He was ready. He didn't need to live any longer. He was complete. So not everyone comes into this life to live 100 or 150 years. Not everyone. Some may need only 20 years. Some may need less or more. So this depends on this karma. Every soul, as it incarnates, it has a certain amount of tasks that one needs to do. And those tasks simply need to be accomplished. And once they're done, you're ready to move on. Then there is a second kind of karma called Sanchita karma. So this means reserve karma. It may be compared to money deposits in a bank, in a savings account, but in this case, it is drawn upon not at the will of the individual, but at the will of the lords of karma. So he may draw upon that and assign it to be lived out at such times and places as he may determine. So here, this kind of karma, Sanchita karma, the individual has no say in it. So the reserve karma is given to every soul with great intelligence, And that reserve karma is given out, and that individual needs to work through it. Then there is a third kind of karma, and it is called Kriyamana. And the Kriyamana karma is the daily karma, which we are making now from day to day during this life. So now this sort of karma may be disposed of in any one of the 3 ways. We may suffer or reap its payment at once, or sometimes slowly during the lifetime, slowly during the course of this life. And secondly, we may have it stored up in Sanchita karma to be drawn upon at some future time, according to the will of the Lord of Karma. So in that case, it may become fate karma for future life. So, of course, we can go into much greater detail, and in further future meetings, we will do that. But this is just a little introduction of how the intelligence of karma is placed and stored to that soul within these causal bodies at the various regions. And this is why it's a confirmation for every soul to step on their spiritual path. Because if that soul does not, oh, he is absolutely stuck. Because when you know that to even touch the lower causal body, you have to be in non-duality. I mean, how many people on earth are at that level? And that's just the lower causal body, let alone rising up the ladder into the great void. Because there's where you will meet the higher causal body, the unconscious karma. And it is when you work through that from a soul level, not as awareness, consciousness opening, but from a soul level. But as you work through that region, that is where exactly then the soul is uplifted by the grace of the masters into eternity, the eternal light of God. So as you know, we focus on guiding anyone, guiding you to come to full consciousness, become fully open in your natural state, know who you are. But then it doesn't end there. Opening to full consciousness is not true liberation. Unfortunately, it has been given that information that it is, but it is not. Because if you only focus on realizing who you truly are, but you totally dismiss your soul, then you have not touched upon the unresolved karmas of the soul in all regions. And that has been the biggest trap in spirituality these days. That has been the biggest deception. And so, thus, knowing that after realizing the true nature of your existence, of realizing God's nature in you as you, then we shift to work with the soul, to liberate the soul from all karmas, from all entrapments, of all deception of the three worlds, Kal, like this whole region that is in the creation and manifestation in the universal mind.